And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Of course, we are here live and in living color, thanks to our good friend Cody Canada yesterday, formerly of Cross Canadian Ragweed, Cody Canada and The Departed. Of course, you can catch him out there at thedepartedmusic.com. If you missed the interview, it's always archived there at the sportsguyspodcast.com, as we're presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. They've been with us now almost 3 years. We appreciate all the work that Brandon Bang does out there for Bangtail Whiskey. Check them out at bangtail.com or easyliquor.com and get the holiday drink on with your choice, my choice, at Bangtail Whiskey, and drink responsibly out there. We always say here on the show. We got a good one for you today. In fact, we got to see each other there at John T. Floor's Country Store back on November 25th after that turkey Thanksgiving, I guess, hangover, whatever you want to call it out there. He did a great show with our good friend Josh Ward out there too. David Adam Byrnes here on the Backstage Pass, presented by Bangtail Whiskey. David, what's up, man?
Hey, man, just getting ready to go out for the last run with the guys this week, and I think I'm already feeling a little bit of that holiday fever. I'm kind of ready to – I'm ready for a little pause, but that's all right. We're still grinding, man.
Yeah, I feel it too, no doubt. Like I said, all that driving back and forth between Beaumont, San Antonio, Helotes, and all the twists and turns that I made over the holiday break. I'm feeling it too, and I'm sleeping pretty good at night, man, on my new mattress we got too. So it's a good thing there. And I tell you, man, hey, it was a great show. Let's recap it there real quick because, I mean, man, you got to do something which was pretty cool to get out there and open for the headliners, support acts, that kind of thing. Josh, I mean, put on a great show, great crowd. And for you guys, it was kind of a cool way to kind of just enjoy it after the big turkey dinners, get everybody out there again and just enjoying the live music, right?
Yeah, man, it was. We don't do a lot of opening slots these days. We've kind of gotten to where we can headline them, but some of those markets and venues, we still want to kind of get a leg in the door. And Josh and his camp was so awesome to invite us out on that. But yeah, man, it's like you said. I mean, it was a grind. I mean, even from then to now, I think I've been home 2 days in the past like 2 months. So it has been a nonstop go, go, go. But man, I've waited a long time to be this busy. And I mean, even that show that night, that was fun, and just it was a good night of country music, man. It's not very often you have two acts that do the same kind of country, and we're kind of a dying breed. So it was a fun night with real country fans that night.
Yeah, and I tell you what, man, I got to watch that CMA Awards show there just a few weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving, and I heard Luke say at the end, Luke Combs, great night of music. Old school's starting to make a comeback. The tribute they did to Loretta Lynn, and I wanted to ask you about that. One, did you get to see it? And then two, man, how much did that kind of mean to kind of bring some of that old school music back to the national side of things on the CMAs?
Man, so we were traveling. I didn't get to watch it live, but when I got back, one of them days where I had a few hours at the house, I was looking for something on the TV, and so I flipped it on just to see. And I didn't watch the whole show. I kind of skimmed through just to get the little pieces and get an idea. But I mean, you're right. That the main thing I noticed was I wasn't ticked off, and I didn't want to turn it off and fast forward it every 5 seconds. I wanted to watch the whole thing, and so I haven't been able to say that for a long time. And so it is, man. There's a lot of cats that are doing good things, especially on that mainstream scale. And man, I hope it keeps going, man. I hope it's not the end of the wave. So
I hope not. And I tell you what, for our local boys, good to see Parker and of course Cody, CJ do his thing out there with Till You Can't. Finally get I'll say this, and I know he's probably gotten the recognition before, and he definitely paid his dues, no doubt, and the record deal and everything else. But just good to see Texas boys like really, I'd say Parker McCollum and even Cody Johnson get that recognition, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Kojo's opened up a lot of doors for guys like us. I mean, I remember back when I was in Nashville before I moved to Texas. I mean, that was kind of the thing that opened my eyes to the scene. Was I heard him come on, and I said, "Who is that? And why is he doing what I'm told nobody wants to hear?" So it's cool to see them barriers being broken. It's cool to see radio embracing them. I mean, I love seeing Trent up there with him grabbing that award. Yep. It's kind of one of them things. It's when you do this as long as we have, you kind of become friends with everybody. I mean, even Lainey Wilson, gosh, I've known her forever. To see her blowing up the way she's blowing up. Luke, I kind of knew a little bit back in Nashville, but just Ashley McBride. I mean, all these cats I used to run around with that have done country music are starting to get a chance. And man, out of all of it, that's just the part I'm excited about, is to see people that should have been known a long time ago finally getting that voice heard.
Let's talk about you guys, man. You guys have been killing it out there. You mentioned the road and everything else, but these albums, man, I'm going to dive into them. For the first one I want to get a recap on because we didn't get a chance to talk a lot about the show because everybody was running and gunning and having a good time. Man, Neon Town just really did it for me, dude. And I'm telling you, I know this is kind of music you want to get out to fans, and we'll talk about the new one here in just a second. But She Only Wanted Flowers, Old School, Signs, Tequila, Salt, and Time, Beer Bucket List. I mean, this was one of your albums that you kind of, I know you guys were kind of really pinpointing what songs you wanted to put on it too, but this was great country music to get out there to fans. And dude, congratulations on the Texas Music Awards and also the charting out there, bro.
Man, I appreciate it. It's like I said, I mean, that Neon Town record was technically my third record, but in my mind, it was my first. That was the first time that I got to do something from start to finish that I believed in, that sounded the way I wanted to sound, that had songs I thought were worthy of being on a record. I mean, I was on a mission, man. I said, I want every single song on this record to be a single. And, now looking back, I'm like, well, maybe we should have sandbagged a few of them so we could have for singles. But no, man, to cut that, like I said, Texas wasn't even on my mind when we recorded that. I mean, I knew the scene, but I never thought I would end up here. And so I just cut a record that I wanted to do. And if Nashville took onto it, cool. If they didn't, then the hell with them, So, little did I know I'd end up in Texas and what the doors would open. But, man, everything that came from that record, I was so proud of. Because, I mean, some of those songs on there, I mean, I can give you one, for instance. That song is probably almost 10 years old and 2 country, and then it's my second number 1 down here. So I'm proud of it, and I'm glad people latched onto it and loved it as much as I do.
Yeah, and country radio did it too, man. I was called some friends at country radio who I worked with in Texas, and I said, "Yep, we're playing it. Yes, sir, we're playing it." I said, "Get him on there if you're not." And again, y'all, the support from the fans, like you said too, at the live shows, and the country radio getting behind this thing was big, right?
I mean, it really was. I mean, even for us coming out of the gate, I mean, that's all I heard was you're from Arkansas. You went to Nashville. It's gonna be an uphill battle. Well, shoot, first song goes to number 1, and then the next one, and then the next one. And I mean, to this day, we're the only artist in the history of the Texas regional chart to have every single song go number 1. So I mean, it's like I said, man, it proves I'm where I'm supposed to be, and most of all, I'm just glad I'm glad where people love real country finally. And so, hey, as long as the river don't run dry, we'll keep pumping them out.
You got a lot more coming, no doubt. Hey, break down Old School for me, because I know this is one of the ones that's, I mean, I'm going to say it right here, country than cow shit, no doubt about it. It's a great song, but it sends a message to people out there, too, that this is the way, she likes it. This is the way your woman wants to be treated. You got to have a little bit of that old school. And y'all did such a good job with the lyrics, of course, everything that you guys did with that song, man. Great job. And just give me a little backstory where that one came from.
Well, so, that was the only one on that record I did not write. I had been wanting, let me backtrack a little bit. Like I said, I was living in Nashville. The thought of even moving to Texas wasn't in my brain, but I got to where I just felt like an outsider. And this is no knock on the people in Nashville. There's a lot of great people, but there's just a lot of damn douchebags that have moved to this town. And I would watch guys act in ways and treat ladies in ways that my mom and dad would come paint my back door red if they saw me act. And it was always on my brain. And so it was funny. I never could find a song or write a song that I felt got what I was truly feeling across. And Michael White, who I wrote Beer Bucket List with, he hollers at me the week before we're getting ready to track. And he goes, "Man, are you looking for any songs?" And I was like, "I'm always looking. What you got?" So he sends me over this demo of a song called Old School. And what was funny about it was they were trying to originally get like a Blake Shelton cut out of it. Mm-hmm. So the demo was bro countryed out. Like if I could play you the demo from what we did, it is too complete. Trent hated the song. Trent Wilman, the producer on that one. He's like, "It doesn't make sense. It's talking about being old school, but it's this bro country. It's contradicting. It doesn't make sense." And so what we did was you always plan one more extra song for a session just in case you have some time at the end and you don't want to waste that time. And so that was the "if we get to it" extra song. And man, at that time, none of those studio session players were really getting to play country music. It was just out of nowhere for them to do a session like we did that day. And so they were on cloud 9. So we got 20 minutes left and we kind of go, "Man, we got one more if y'all are willing to stay for it." "Absolutely, absolutely." And dude, it was so weird. Tim Galloway on the acoustic guitar in there just started doing this tinkering, noodling on his acoustic. All he was doing was warming up. But when he did, I remember I said, Stop, Trent, did you just hear that?" And he goes, "No, what?" And I said, "Tell Galloway to keep doing what he was just doing." And it was all that kind of Jerry Reed style picking that you hear on that record. And it was just him noodling around. That one little thing morphed this whole song. Janae comes in on that fiddle, and I cannot. I've never heard a song go from night and day from a demo to the recording from what that was. And so there was, I don't know if that was Jesus, the country music gods, or just dang good luck, but whatever it was, I'm glad it happened, because that song would not have been what it was if it not have came out that way.
Love that song. Love that tune, man. You guys can check it out, Neon Town, across all the digital platforms. One that, too, we brought you back to the good old honky tonk style that loved it, too, with the jukebox and drinking beer and having a good time and hitting the dance floor. Dim lights, thick smoke, and loud music. And, dude, again, that's just I use the term country and cow shit, but at the same time, you guys put a great spin on that one, too, and great writing behind that one.
Well, there's a story behind that too. So, one thing I started doing on my second record, and I progressed it through, is that I take an old classic country song and I do just a strip down of me and, whoever's left to do it. And we actually were going to do Honky Tonk Crazy, the George Strait song, on that one. And the morning that I went to go cut Beer Bucket List and then do the acoustic song was the morning Daryl Singletary passed. And I called an audible on everybody, so the bar that I grew up going to in Nashville, I was 19 when I moved there. The only one that let me in, it was called the Fiddle and Steel Guitar Bar. Well, Dim Lights, Thick Smoke, and Loud Music was kind of the theme song of that bar. Jody Maphis was always behind the board running sound and playing guitar. His parents wrote that song. And so there was just this whole deep meaning behind it. And the reason I knew that song originally was because of Daryl with those cover records that he did. And so I wanted to do something for Daryl. I don't know why that's the song that came to mind, but then I come back and I think about it. Well, the title track ends up being Neon Town. The chorus lyric to Neon Town is dim, dim lights, thick, thick smoke. It just, once again, it was like Jesus going, hey, dumbass, I got this for you. Just pay attention. And I don't know if Jesus would say dumbass, but anyway, you get the gist. But it's just funny how things just happen and they fall in place how they're supposed to. And that's exactly another one of them where it just wasn't planning it. Had no idea we were doing that, but everything, the dominoes fell in place and we ended up doing that one that day.
Best country songs come to life and you don't have to think about them too much. That's a good thing. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick time out. CJ Garton's going to join us here. He's also a Texas artist down here too, doing some good things along with David Adam Byrnes here. It is the Backstage Pass presented by Bangtail Whiskey. And I tell you, coming back, you're going to play a couple for us. We'll do song 1 of 2 coming up here in a little bit. The new album is Keep Up with a Cowgirl. We'll talk all about that too, including the title track and a whole bunch of more great songs here with my good buddy David Adam Byrnes here on the Backstage Pass. We'll come right back. A word from Bangtail Whiskey. It's the holiday drink of choice. Make sure you guys go check it out at bangtail.com or easyliquor.com. Place that order and get 750 milliliters of good stuff sent directly to your door. We all need a good holiday drink. Drink responsibly and drink with Bangtail Whiskey. Coming back with CJ Garton, David Adam Byrnes going to perform a couple of songs for us here on the Backstage Pass. Hang tight.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
I guess it's cold beer time. No, it's a good transition there. Cold beer time's on the record. Keep Up with a Cowgirl. Make sure you guys do that. It's almost 5 o'clock somewhere, as Alan and Jimmy used to say. So I guess it is cold beer time. Back here on the Backstage Pass with David Adam Byrnes. Brother, if you want to grab that guitar, let's go ahead and do that first song. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll have you perform a couple on here. Again, Keep Up with the Cowgirls, the new album out there. You guys are already having rave reviews with that and songs that are going to #1. And again, not surprised to get that either. So it's all yours, brother. We'll come back. CJ will jump in. We'll have some more good questions for you. And what's up first?
Well, I'm going to ask you. I know what I'm doing second, but I'm going to give you the. We'll do the request hour, man. What do you want to hear?
Request hour. Okay. Man, I tell you what, just because I love it and the holidays are coming up, how about Past My Bud Time? What do you say?
All right, we can do it. That works.
All right. I like that. Here we go.
all day slaving away so I could leave a little early. But the boss walked in about 4:10 and said, I need you here at 7:30. I rolled up my sleeves and bit my tongue, 'cause there's a cold beer waiting for me when I'm done. But every second that passed, got a little more mad. It's getting past my bud time, time for me to unwind and escape from this hell of a day and leave this crazy shit behind. Need a little QT with a cozy before I lose my mind. I'm overworked and I'm beer deprived. It's getting past my bud time. Later on, finally headed home, I blow a hole in my good ear. Grab a spare and it's out of air. Just can't win, I swear. Gonna be a minute here. It's getting past my bud time. Time for me to unwind and escape from the hell of the day and leave this crazy shit behind. Need a little QT with a cozy before I lose my mind. I'm overworked and I'm beer deprived. It's getting past my bud time. Just when I think that this day couldn't get no worse, I get home to an empty fridge and look over at her. That last cold can in her hand, man. It's getting past my bud time. Time for me to unwind and escape from this hell of a day and leave this crazy shit behind. Need a little QT with a cozy before I lose my mind. I'm overworked and I'm beer deprived. It's getting past my bud time. I really need to unwind and escape from the hell of a day and leave this crazy shit behind. Need a little QT with a koozie before I lose my mind. I'm overworked and I'm beer deprived. It's getting past my bud time. I'm overworked and I'm beer deprived. It's getting past my bud time. It's getting past my bud time.
Past my bud time here with David Adam Byrnes here on the Backstage Pass. Of course, that's the new album. Keep Up with a Cowgirl across all the digital platforms out there. And make sure you guys check out davidadamburns.com for all the good stuff out there with the tour dates, the merch, and everything out there. And, I put up my Christmas tree this past weekend, too, which was something for me. It's very early for me to do that. But I'll say this. I always say stocking stuffers are some of the best things out there. They people can go buy good stuff out there with merch and just stick it right in the stocking. CJ Garden joins us here on the Backstage Pass. CJ, what's up, man?
And hanging like a hair in a biscuit, baby. How you doing?
I thought I was the only person that used that phrase, man.
Man, we keep running the same circles. It's good to finally meet you, brother.
I know, man. Likewise.
Absolutely.
Now we're just talking a lot about Keep Up with the Cowgirl. So, hey, let's dive into that one, too, because that's a good just dance floor type of song with Past My Bud Time. I know you guys, it had to be a special moment or a special place when that just kind of came out of you, right?
Man, it did. So, Jay Brunswick, who I've written with for, like my very first publishing and record deal, we went into that together. And we kind of took a pause from writing there for several years, and we kind of reconnected again. And, dude, we've been just cranking them out. He brought in Jason Blaine. He goes, man, I got a guy I want you to write with. And so it's the very first time the three of us as a combination wrote. And I remember saying, I was like, all my heroes have always had cowboy songs. I've never done one. I want one. And so, Jason just started running with this melody, and it was killer. We got on this idea, Keep Up with a Cowboy. And all of a sudden, I remember I was like, man, I think we're missing the angle on this thing. was like, it ain't the Cowboys are hard to keep up with. It's some damn cowgirls. We got talking about Yellowstone and the whole Beth Dutton thing. And then, obviously she's not riding and cowgirl, all that stuff. But we just kind of with the mentality, let's write a song about how crazy she is. And I don't know, man. Next thing you know, the song just kind of fell out and it was cool. We actually tracked it on the very first session. The way we were doing things, we record 4, release those 4, record the next 4, that kind of deal. And so we hung on to that song. I was like, man, this ain't something we just throw out at the wind. We've got to wait for the right time. And I knew it was the perfect title track. We ended up getting to the music video for it. And yeah, that song it's been huge for us. So I'm once again, thank you to the country music gods for that one.
Absolutely. And Aunt Kathy is the Beth Dutton at the ranch in Oklahoma.
I feel you.
You guys are already getting rave reviews, David, on this album too, because I know this came out for you guys here in 2022 right there. I loved everything about it, man. You mentioned about just the title of it for itself to really set the tone with Keep Up with the Cowgirl, but just talk about some of the feedback, man, from people in the music industry, people that are just great country music fans, and people at radio, again, kind of like Neon Town. This just, again, brought out another, I mean, I'm saying same side, but you're coming up with great songs, writing with great songwriters in your whole camp. And it really brought this album to light too, man. This is another fantastic piece of work.
Yeah, man. It's just growing. That's a big thing. I think the difference with the Neon Town record is I was in the mindset of I have no idea if this will work, but I want to do it. This one was, I know this is going to work, so I'm going to do it. When you got that confidence and you're not second guessing and you know exactly what you're going for. I mean, it was kind of funny too. I was talking to another radio guy and he made the comment. He goes, a fiddle starts in a song. He goes, I don't have to even hear a word. I automatically know it's a Adam Byrnes song. And I was just like, well, I guess we got to hire a fiddle player now. But no, it's just cool that we've gotten this distinct sound and that it's all coming together. Because, like anybody can vouch as an artist, you do this forever and forever and forever. And if you're like I was in Nashville, you can do it forever, but you don't get to record them. You don't get to put them out. You got publishers telling you you can or can't do this. And so for us now just to continuously be flooding it and doing what we're doing, man, it's really helping me step into, I don't want to act like I didn't know my sound. I always knew what I wanted to do, but there's that fine tuning that we're able to really put in there. And it's me to a T, but I mean, just the love we've gotten. I mean, even some of the publications, stuff PR wise, people that never would give us the time of day, all of a sudden were calling when this album came out. So, it's making noise. And like I said, hopefully country's coming back because we're out there trying to give it to them if it is. Country
is always been here. It just wasn't getting praised. I've done the Nashville adventure too and did 3 laps. I finally rode, like I said, I don't know if you know much about our horse ride, but we rode 700 miles with my 13-year-old son in 2019 after I broke off a dolly to put riding for real country, putting country back on the map, man. And so, it's here. And I'm going to tell you right now, Yellowstone, things like that, if you're talking about that, it's made country cool.
It has. The whole time I was in Nashville, I remember always, my phrase always said is, we need a dang urban cowboy movement. And we have got it. We have got it. And, it was kind of funny, man. I saw a thing from I can't remember what outlet it was, but it said, Yellowstone does more for country music than country radio does. And it was talking about that Zach Bryan. It was funny because I sent it to my publishers. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this out loud. And they laughed at me. And I was like, okay, well, do you see anything else beating? Zach Bryan, #1 song of downloads amongst all genres after a premiere. I didn't see anybody on country radio in the top 10 of that. So,
fellow Oklahoma Navy boy, I'm giving that a boy on that. Man, I wrote 1883. The prequel for Yellowstone. That's originally my song. They reached out and got inspired to write the entire series on it.
That's awesome.
And for me, it's been a blessing that TV does have a big control of how people are influenced.
Yeah.
TV commercials, a lot of things, you can see what's trending, and to see country coming back, like real country, man, it makes my heart happy. I swear. 'Cause I lived in this town. I spent, a good 15, 14 years in Nashville, right out of the Navy, trying to beat that street, just like you were. And I met Jay through Kent Wells when I was working with Kent, and when I first moved to town in the studios and stuff. And man, it's been one of those things where like, when are we going to start singing something that says something? When do we start feeling that? And I don't knock anything else, but you can't kill a genre. And there's
yeah, it's true. There it is.
Yeah.
Got you back. No, it kind of froze up there. You're right. You can't kill a genre that a genre's been around for a long time, and they got something to say with those type of songs.
David, you mentioned something, brother. I don't know if you're still there, but you mentioned a name a while ago, Daryl. Are you talking about Daryl Singletary?
Absolutely.
Well, I'm doing something with Daryl's wife and brother and them, and we're making.
Kind of freezing up there. Yeah, he's freezing up a little bit too. We'll try to get him back there. I want to hear that story too. Hey, I tell you what, while we try to get him back, I want to say we play another one too. The one you're going to pick there. You know what you were going to do second for us here on the show. So we try to reestablish the connection with CJ there and find out the latest. What's your pick for number 2?
Well, man, as much as Keep Up with the Cowgirls, what I've been excited about, we've had our biggest song come out as a Christmas song here.
All right.
Man, Spotify's been blowing up with this thing. And so I wrote it last year with William Michael Morgan and Curtis Grimes. And William actually put it out last year. And I decided, well, I wrote that song too. I want to put my vocal on it. So this is my Christmas song for the year.
Here we go.
Everywhere you look, it's a holiday Hallmark scene. The whole world's painted in holly red and evergreen. The snow is falling, Mama's calling. She'd give anything for me to be home at Christmas. Can't believe how long it's been since we spent Christmas Eve fireside by the tree as a family. Spent the morning after breakfast open all the presents before you had to leave. You could always be home at Christmas. She said Daddy's on the ladder, we've been decorating the house. Girls are in the kitchen cutting the cookies out. It's your favorite night of the year. They're gonna light up the square. I hate it that you ain't here to see home at Christmas. Can't believe how long it's been since we spent Christmas Eve fireside by the tree as a family. Spent the morning after breakfast ripping open all the presents before you had to leave. You could always be home at Christmas. Said, honey, I better go, just so you know we hung your stocking up even though you can't be home at Christmas. Can't believe how long it's been since we spent Christmas Eve fireside by the tree as a family. Spent the morning after breakfast ripping open all the presents before you had to leave. And you could always be on Christmas.
The bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show again, Texas country artist David Adam Byrnes joining us today. Of course, no shows tomorrow. We'll have a couple on Thursday before we just kind of sign off. At the end of the week on Friday, have a good long 3-day weekend coming up here back here with CJ Garton, of course, the entire team, Kirsty Krause, Nick Canizales, and Miss Stephanie Ryan. We appreciate all they do for the show out there to get the Backstage Pass more and more listeners every day. Dude, I see why you mentioned about writing with some great people, and Home at Christmas is right there. We all want to be there, and again, we got our families, and just commend you on a great, great Christmas song, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. That was it was pretty magic. It's sad, but I love it at the same time.
Oh man, all the best country songs are sad.
Well, sad songs make me happy. So
I hate that I was jumping out. I had one of those telemarketers trying to call me when I was live.
Oh man.
But yeah, what I was saying was Daryl's been a big influence. I grew up a little bitty guy, and I think Daryl, Keith Whitley, those Haggards, that kind of style of artist. But I had it in my heart to try to do something not only for Daryl's family, but something also that should have been. I wrote a song with David Wade and Shane Grove, some other buddies of mine, called "Unlikely Angels" that Daryl Singletary cut.
I remember that one.
And we wanted to do an album and a tribute album to Daryl, do some songs that were happening to be unreleased of Daryl's that he'd done, but he'd never released. And then also bring in artists to do some of Daryl's old tunes that were really great songs, maybe some that had a lot of life or some that didn't have a lot of life. And we're putting that together right now with my partner, Joe Spivey. Hollis used to do his sound on the road.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about,
Yeah.
man. Well, y'all signed me up, man. So Daryl, I don't even know if you, Brandon, know this story or not. So Daryl is a huge, huge, huge reason of why I'm even still around. So, I had my first record deal, and as things went south, they were already in the midst of trying to change me. And this was right as the whole tornado of this bro country crap was coming in.
They want you to get earrings and grow your hair, huh?
Man, I did. I had this long hair. I was dressing in ways I was embarrassed of. I was singing songs I was embarrassed of. And me and a good friend of mine, I bet you know her, Jenny Brewer, ran into Daryl. And Daryl just stops. We're all coming up, Daryl, hey, buddy. And he just stops and gives me the
up and down.
And he goes, what in the hell you doing, boy? With that deep old voice of his. And I said, coming to see you, man. And he goes, cut the crap. What is this? I don't know what you're talking about. And he point blank, he said, buddy, he goes, you are the last hope I had for country music in this town. Whatever this is, stop and get back to your roots. And that was kind of the moment that I went, all right, I'm listening. But man, Daryl did a lot of stuff for me, man. Even events out there at the NFR, and like I said, I took it hard when he passed. But man, his legacy lives on, his music lives on, and I'd like to think I had a little bit to do. I'm talking about a song I want to do on this thing. If y'all do it, it says "Living Up to Her Low Expectations." I remember telling him, I was like, why aren't you doing that in the set no more? And the next time I saw him and it was in a set, I was like, y'all thank me for that.
I love it, man. I love it. Absolutely, man. We'll block you out, save you. I'd love to have you a part of this.
Yeah, man.
I think it's a really great thing because it's not only great something for Daryl to keep that name going, but also something for the family. He was on a family, wife, kids, and to pass away that young. I lost my dad on his 43rd birthday. So when Daryl passed at such a young age, it kind of recycled that with me emotionally, and it's something I just have set out to really want to do. And so, man, I would love and be honored to have you part of it. But I think Daryl did a lot for a lot of people, a lot more than folks realize. That he helped me tremendous times at NWTF, get me in that door. Those little events like that, when you're some guy who is green, don't know anybody in town, they're looking at you like he looked at you up and down, like who do you think you are?
Yeah.
For someone to open a door and who's made it and has done what he's done for the country music industry, to step behind and say, hey, this is a good kid, you need to give him a chance, and they do because of that. That goes a long way. It's a
yeah, you can't even put words or a price to that. I mean, I mean no disrespect to any other artist. I know they call Vern the voice. I love Keith Whitley. George Strait's my hero. But out of this day, I say Daryl Singletary is the best voice in country music. And I'm fortunate that I got to be that much of a piece of his life and that he got to be such a big part of mine. But he, man, God rest him. I know he's having a heck of a honky tonk up in heaven without us.
Oh, yeah.
I sure miss him, man.
They called him up to the choir, buddy.
Dang right.
They got him up there, no doubt, too. Hey, I wanted to ask you about one off the new album. Again, Keep Up with the Cowgirl out there across all the digital platforms. Make sure you guys go check it out. And there's 16 great songs on there. And I know this is one we had chatted about probably at shows we'd gone to. And you came down to Southeast Texas to visit us down here near Beaumont a couple of years ago to do an acoustic show. Better Love Next Time.
Yeah.
That's one. I don't know if you guys had sent that to radio or you had told me. Maybe it was another one we were talking about. But again, just another great country song and something that people can really feel when you sing that, bro.
Man, it is. We didn't get to send that to radio. It's the only thing that I hate is, you're doing this monthly release. Well, you can't put out a new song to radio every month. So some of them get left behind on that end. But man, Jay Brunswick, Carlton Anderson, another Texas boy. I remember Jay came in, he goes, I got a title for you guys. And he said it. And I was like, yep, we're going to write that right now. And, it's funny. Carlton was going through a breakup, and I think I had gone through one not too long before. But I remember the second I heard that title, I said, let's Dean Dillon this thing. I said, we need to write a modern day new version of Easy Come, Easy Go. And that's exactly what we did, man. We just kind of put that song in the back of our minds and just kind of wrote. And, some songs are a challenge and take a long time to write. And some just fall out. Man, that sucker just fell out. I feel like it wasn't even a battle at all. But we got in the studio, that one came to life. And as far as just the production even alone, I think it's one of the most beautiful songs I've ever been a part of. But lyrically, it's just, man, it's real. I think everybody can relate to it. Anybody that's ever, not every breakup has to be this nasty, big blow up. I hate you, you hate me. It's just sometimes it don't work. And hey, let's just step aside and call it what it is. And that song, yeah, man, I'm glad you picked that one to talk about. I love that song.
I love it, man. Good stuff. And I tell you also off that record too, and I love how you guys really kept it there with the title track. And then the second one, Smallest Town on Earth, man, that just really, where I'm from, I know what it's all about. And of course, the further you go west, you hit all them small towns. And I'm driving a couple of weeks ago, listened to it coming up there to see you play. And I'm going through Flatonia and Luling and Schulenburg and all these things to get to San Antonio. And I'm like, I feel that tune, bro. I do.
Man, that was such a cool one too. One of the great things that's happened since I've signed this new publishing deal is they brought in some writers I never had access to, and that one's Wade Kirby. And Wade's dad, Dave Kirby, wrote, Hall of Famer type songwriter, and Wade's just as dang good, man.
Is that Leona Williams' ex-husband?
I don't know that far in depth, but it may be.
Yeah.
I know he wrote Is Anybody Going to San Antonio and some of those songs like that.
Yeah, Dave Kirby also wrote Ain't No Good Chain Gang for Waylon, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah. I think she was married to Dave right after Merle. And
that wouldn't surprise me.
I had pancakes with Leona the other day. It was great.
That's awesome.
And she was talking about Dave and stuff. Hey, he just recently, I guess, passed away here.
Yeah, it's not been too long. I know. Fact, man. So you talk about those little in between towns. There's Brady, Texas. If you're ever passing through, they've got this little country music museum, and man, y'all need to stop. I was amazed how much stuff they had in there. But the people were taking me around, and all we dang, I look up and there's a BMI award for Dave Kirby. And so I took a picture. I had to send it to Wade. I was like, man, I thought you'd appreciate this. And you could tell she's like, man, thank you so much for sending me that. But yeah, man, Wade is just dude, he's become one of my favorite writers. There's going to be a lot of stuff on the next record that we hadn't let y'all hear quite yet that he's a part of. But he, what I love about writing with him is that he'll push me out of my limits and out of my comfort zone. You know, there's a lot of stuff in that song that's not what I normally would do. But then by the time you put the production, you dial it in and make it you. But man, that was one of them songs. I remember the day we wrote it. In fact, I remember my team was like, we marked that as a hit song we should demo, not a DAB song. I was like, no, it's a DAB song. We just got to make it, we got to dial it in. But I'm with you, man. Anybody grew up in a small town like that, it's just, I thought it painted pictures so well. I thought the lyric was great. And yeah, that was a fun one to write.
That's awesome.
Good stuff. Yep. I love that one too. And there's so many good ones on there. It's like I said, 16 songs. We could stay here all day and talk about them. But the good thing is, get out to a live show as these we finish out the year and get ready for 2023. All right, so rapid fire. We'll start this way as we close the year. I mean, I've seen you in person, so I know what you're like on a live show. It's kick ass. It's up tempo. It's getting people dancing, and it's just good. I almost let the F-bomb just drop there, but it's that good. I'm gonna use the F word if you want to. But looking at this, looking at 2023, riding the momentum. We talked about with Neon Town, keep up with the Cowgirl, knowing it's charting on the Texas radio and number one's out there. Tell me about 2023 and what you're most excited about.
Man, you kind of just said it already. It's just taking this momentum we've had here at the end of this year and just keeping it going. You know, like I said, we've already tracked the first 4 singles for the next record. So we're going to come right out of the gate in January with one. I'm not going to announce who, but we've got some guest appearances coming on some of these songs that are pretty dang cool, man. But you know, we're already starting to fill up the schedule. I know we got some dates in January. Our February is already full. So just, I hate to sound like a broken record, but more of the same, man. Just grinding, touring, recording, writing, and just trying to grow this thing bigger and bigger and bigger.
No, I'm not surprised. It will definitely get there, no doubt, brother. Well, I tell you what, Home at Christmas is out there across all the digital platforms, wherever you guys download or stream music. And keep up with the Cowgirl and Neon Town. All the great stuff we've talked about today is on those records or did come out as singles and were put on those records too, guys. It's true country music to the core. I got 2 of the best here on with me here on this radio show, bringing country and putting country back into what's called country music and the 90s sound. You got to love it. Check him out at davidadambyrnes.com and go get Home at Christmas and keep up with the Cowgirl across all those digital platforms. DAB, man, appreciate the time, brother. Much love out there. Happy holidays, and let's do this again in 23, my friend.
Heck yeah, man. And I think y'all are down near Houston, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll be, I guess I might as well give show plugs. We'll be in Webster on Friday night with Tracy Bird. Ooh. And then we are going to be headlining our last full band show of the year in Victoria at the Moonshine Drinkery. So check them out. Come on out if you're around Houston and Victoria.
Absolutely. You can promote shows anytime on my brand, brother. That's given, no doubt about that. We're good friends, no doubt. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, make sure you go check it out. Home at Christmas. Keep up with the Cowgirl. And we're going to keep up with DAB as we roll into 2023. Much love. We're off tomorrow. And, of course, coming up on Thursday, a couple of great artists. Callie Prince. We're going to do the Texas two-step. And then one of my good friends, Tegan Gase, is going to drop by on Thursday. And then coming up here in a few weeks, we'll be talking to her. She was named one of the next women of country by CMT. She's going to lead off 2023. Stephanie Quayle here on the Backstage Pass. We'll talk to Stephanie here on the show coming up there. And also we're still we're catching up to him. Pat Green coming here on the Backstage Pass coming up here in January 2023. Be on the lookout for that. For CJ, Stephanie, Ryan, Kirsty Krause, the entire team, we'll see you guys Thursday about 4 o'clock on the show. Until then, take care. Have a great night. And again, happy holidays. We'll see you soon.